It's more of a subdued tone today because I am not hyper. Welcome to Chat with the Docs on our very subdued, laid back
Tuesday.
Self-Care Tuesday. I am your host, Mo Wolf.
And I am the co-host, Dr. Noel.
And neither of us are quite ourselves today. You'll have to forgive us. Today is January 19th, 2021. Yay! You know what the good news of that is? It's not 2020.
That is true. I'll drink to that.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Yes, the drinking game rules still apply.
Yes.
So we thank you for choosing to waste and fritter away your lunch hour with us, your guiding light on all things health and wellness on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Although we are thinking of expanding that to Rumble because it has such a cool name. Let's get ready to rumble.
That's fun.
We could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, we could.
And there's a bunch of other platforms that Hero was experimenting with putting us on. So you might see us on some other platforms in the near future. We might get kicked off of others.
Or bad.
Which wouldn't be the first time I got in trouble. Grade school.
That's how we roll.
Anyway, this one is responsible for the jokes that are coming.
I thought you were gonna say your headache at first.
No.
I'm getting too crazy too early in the day.
No. My neck is responsible for my headache. So Dr. Noel got me a Hanukkah gift, which was awfully kind. And it was a joke calendar. I think it's because she was sick and tired of my lousy jokes and wanted to expand my repertoire. So for Thursday the 14th, and I saved this just for you. What's big and gray and has horns?
Big and gray and has horns?
Yes.
A semi.
In primer? No, an elephant marching band.
Oh.
So this one I thought was appropriate. We're all adults here, right?
Yes.
I mean, we clicked that it wasn't for children. So this is a medical show. We talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna retell it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna read it.
You're gonna do it better anyways.
It's a good joke.
I believe it.
So this young kid, he's sophomore in college, and he decided, I think I want to try out for the football team. I think I'm going to try out for the football team. He's a great big one. Great big one. He even had all his own teeth. I mean, he was one of these kids that looks like he should have been, someone somewhere should have carved a marble statue out of him, just physically everything was perfect. The kid was athletic, grew up on a ranch wrestling steers, so broad-shouldered, narrow at the hip, didn't take no guff, didn't give no lip to Big John. And he decided he wanted to try out for the college football team. And the coach heard about him and had heard that this kid could lift a lot of weight in the weight room and wasn't too interested in walk-ons, wanted someone that had a pedigree. And the defensive coach said, now I don't know anything about football. I just a defensive coach. I don't even know if they have that. Said, no, you got to talk to this boy. So the coach sits down and he says, okay, well, how fast can you run? The kid says, I don't know. Do you run, son? Yes, sir. I can run. I chased after steers my whole life. I can ride. I can rope. I can run. I can shoot. But what do you need? And the guy says, well, let's try out. Put on your shoes.
Cleats,
and the boy says, "You mean my tennis shoes?" Whatever, kid. I mean, he was total hayseed. And they don't even like my joke, and I haven't even gotten the punchline. So the coach puts the kid on the goal line and says, "When I say go, you're going to run to the other end." Coach walks down to the other end, says, "You ready?" The kid says, "Yeah, sir." The coach says, "Go!" And the kid runs the length of the field in 7 seconds. The coach says, "What? Do that again." The kid jogs back down. Go! 7 seconds flat. Now that's better than pros. And the coach says, "This is ridiculous. Do it one more time." Kid does it in 6.8. I mean, this is
Wow.
superhuman stuff.
Yeah.
And the coach says, "So you can run. How can you tackle?" "I don't know. I've been jumping steers my whole..." Try it. So the coach puts the sled in front of him, and he gets a couple of guys behind the sled, and he says, "Okay, get down in your stance, and when we say hike, you hit that sled, and I want to see what you got. Give it all you got, son." And coach is starting to respect him a little more now. Coach screams out, "Hike!" And the kid hits that sled, and he's got 3 linebackers on the back of it trying to hold him steady. He just runs over the top of them, knocks them right down. Cleat marks on their faces, couple missing teeth. I mean, it's just mayhem. The kid doesn't stop until he gets to the other end zone. The coach says, "Wow." And the kid looks at him, he says, "Son, can you pass the football?" And the boy goes, "Well, I've never tried, coach, but I'm sure if I could get it down, I could pass it."
This is one that I read before. I'm like, that's just wrong. But still super cool. That's a good way to start the day.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes in. We've had a good laugh.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you had a good laugh. You may have already turned off by now.
That was already a better story than the calendar could give us.
Well, thank you.
Really gave us some depth. Should we tell them about our ailments first before we start off?
Yeah. What's ailing you? What's the cat got up your craw?
My left low back has got me today. And you know what? It's nobody's fault but my own, because I like to work on the left side of the table and I don't like to switch it up.
I thought it probably had something to do with that alligator wrestling conference that you just came back from.
Don't tell my secrets.
In Baton Rouge.
Swamp people.
She really has webbed toes.
That's why I swim so quick.
Only on the right side, which means that she
In a
swims in a
circle.
left-hand circle.
Just like the gators.
She'll only swim in round lakes.
You really helped me though. That helped a
I'm
lot.
glad
Your
that helped.
treatment, yeah.
We didn't use needles because there wasn't time, so we
Mhm.
just did some body work.
Yeah, it was good.
The appropriate body work can go a long way.
Mhm.
And so today we decided to suspend some of the questions that are pending. We'll get to those next week. We wanted to talk to you about self-care
Mhm.
because you were feeling miserable.
Yep.
You were hurting on your left lower back.
Yep.
You had palpable adhesions, you had ropey muscles, and you had some edema along the sacrum.
Mhm.
You were able to work on that and get some of that worked out. And didn't even have to go very intense.
Mhm.
Didn't have to go long, drawn out, 45-minute massage. Who's got time? I don't even have the attention span for that. What are we doing?
We're doing like some trigger point therapy on some of that.
We did some trigger point therapy.
some
We did a little
stretching.
Twaina.
Mhm.
We did a little muscle release.
Mhm.
That was that whole raise the leg, and then I go in deeper, and you say, "I hate you," at which I thank you for not trying to turn around and hit me. But we got those muscles to release.
Yeah.
We're in a busy clinic. We don't have time.
Mhm.
So,
And that's something that I've been trying to do a little bit better. Been trying to do better with getting the abs a little bit stronger so I don't have that. But when you're working,
what are you doing for your abs?
trying to do some planks I'm trying to do more squats to use the legs more than the back when I'm over the table. I even bring the table up to me, so I'm not bending as far down with that.
Good.
But I know I use the back way too much when I'm doing my work.
Utilize the ergonomics of your table
Mm-hmm.
with your workstation at home, at work, whatever you're doing. Make it fit you. Don't make you fit your workstation.
Mm-hmm.
But for exercises, planks, all right. I'm not a big fan of them because it's all just one position. But if you're starting to twist your body and hold your body going up on one arm while you're doing this,
Like a bird dog?
yeah,
Okay.
do that. But also, you know those great big balls?
Yep.
That you
Those
sit on?
exercise balls, yep.
Yeah. Get yourself one of those. The greatest core workout I've ever seen in my life is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not everyone can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get one of those balls, what you can do is get on it like this.
Oh, that Superman kind of?
And then just kind of roll under it without falling off the ball, and then roll back. And what you're doing, you're engaging all of this.
Okay.
And you're keeping yourself steady on that ball, and you can just kind of roll in and out. And this is actually a jiu-jitsu drill.
Okay.
And you can go on YouTube and look up some of these jiu-jitsu drills with giant ball. I don't know how they'd find it, but
Exercise ball, yeah.
exercise ball. But my good friend D from Fight Prime in Madison, my coach, my professor, as they say in jiu-jitsu, he taught me that. And he taught me the value of that. And even when I can't get into a jiu-jitsu gym to
You
train,
can do some at-home stuff.
I will get one of those balls. And not only do you get a great core workout, but you do it long enough and suddenly your hips will be wide open and loose. And you'll say, wow, I didn't realize how messed up I was.
Mm-hmm. I have that. Remember that whoopee cushion that I have too sometimes? I'm
How
loading
many
it out.
chiropractors do you know that admit they have a whoopee cushion?
That exercise disc. It looks like a whoopee cushion. They've actually loaned it out to somebody. Otherwise, I would have jumped on that one today too. So it does help. Same with getting that exercise ball. You can do rotations with the hips and back and forth with that to get that extra mobility in the lumbar spine.
Yeah.
So that one's a good one. If I would have had it, I would have used it today.
One of my instructors in med school, Dr. John Burns, he's a doctor of physical therapy over in Milwaukee. Last I knew at Aurora, he was also a doctor of acupuncture.
Cool.
He taught a Qigong exercise, which did something similar to what you do with that little pillow.
Mm-hmm.
That is, he had you stand like this and just do a
Some
little
rotations
exercise like this, rotations back and forth, and then do figure eights and everything else.
Yeah.
But you do it, and you do it at a speed, kind of like you got your coffee cup and you're
Swirling
swirling the
water.
coffee around in there, kind of like that.
Okay.
It's very similar if you don't have one of those pads or balls to work with.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you have any questions and want to be part of the show and say, hey guys, what do you do for this? Give us a call.
Yeah.
You don't have to use that voice. You don't have to ask that question. You can ask whatever you want, say whatever you want. 608-314-8791. How pathetic is that? What middle-aged senility is that when I have to look at the scripts, the notes to find my own phone number?
So I'll make sure it's right. Second check.
So I'm glad you're doing that core
Yeah,
strengthening.
that's my New Year's resolution is to make sure my core is strong so I don't blow my back out. Because I'd have a lot of patients not too happy with me if I was like, sorry guys,
Yeah.
my back hurts, I can't.
Well, the other aspect of it is you need to come an hour early and tell Carrie, reserve me a table so that we can be working on your back.
Mm-hmm. I almost wonder if it's a little bit with hip flexor too. Because it wasn't really until after the drive, so I don't know if I was holding myself tight.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
what the
you
deal was.
have all of those erectors along the spine from
Mhm.
top to bottom were ridiculously ropey. So
You wouldn't believe I just had a massage on Saturday.
no, I wouldn't. not by palpating the tissues.
Yep.
We got some work to do. We got some work to do. That said, speaking of a bag of wet cats, it's time for me to talk about my misery today. That's what we're doing today. We're airing our miseries, because what you need to know is everybody has injuries.
Yes.
Everybody has illnesses. Not every single illness is debilitating, but they sure can be a pain.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up this morning with a headache, a pretty moderate to severe headache. We're going to say about a 7, right here and right here. So I've been talking to patients this morning, going, pressing on different spots in my head, trying to get sinuses to drain.
Mm-hmm.
You worked on it a little bit. It helped for about an hour or two, but it's coming back.
It's creeping.
It's one of those things. I haven't had the chance to needle myself for it. I took some herbs this morning. No.
I love that one.
I'm gonna do knees.
Okay.
Because a lot of the problem is right along the mastoids, right?
Yeah.
You palpated it, so it's right along the mastoids. So there's a spot, there's a little lump on the lateral proximal aspect of the knee. You palpate your knee and you can kind of feel that lump.
Yep.
If I put 3 needles along the lateral side of that lump, coming proximal back off of that knee, that should release all of this musculature, which will then cause the sinuses to drain. Self-care as an acupuncturist is a little different, because you sit there like this going, yeah, do I really want to do this? Stabbing yourself is a whole new world.
Well, you can't like self-adjust yourself. You can maybe get your wrists, or maybe an ankle, some degree, but yeah, I'm sorry, but not good like if somebody else does it. So the question is, why your back's hurting. Mm-hmm.
It's because of ergonomics.
Yeah.
It's because of riding in a car. My question for me was, why is my head hurting so much?
I think yours is some emotional stuff too.
Could be.
Jet lag from getting back into the rhythm off of vacation. Sometimes I feel worse after vacation than even before you go.
And digestion hasn't been moving, which means
probably eating different things.
Sinuses are going to be inflamed and not drain. Once that starts to get inflamed, that's going to pull on things, which is going to start messing up this tissue back here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up with a headache, and you end up telling really dumb jokes about passing footballs on YouTube.
We didn't get taken down for that, though.
Well, not yet.
They didn't catch the joke. I don't think
they'll probably demonetize us. That said, considering we have 2 watchers, thank you, Mercy and Carrie. My wife and my secretary, our official show observer, Carrie.
There you go.
My wife, Mercy, and our official show observer, Carrie. John, where are you? You should be on.
He might be adjusting right now.
Ah, well, he's excused. I don't know where I was going to go with that. Let's go to the conundrum from last week, shall we? Do you remember last week's conundrum?
It's a conundrum.
Last week's conundrum had Erlene Schmutzer. Remember Erlene Schmutzer? Not that Schmutzer. He's serving 10 to 20 in Sing Sing. Erlene Schmutzer was driving her 1978 Olds Toronado from Toledo to Amarillo because she's a wild and crazy gal. She had been staying away from the traveler's normal gas station diet and was eating a steady diet of baby carrots, celery, and ice-cold water. There's a hint. Long about Joplin Moe, Erlene started to have sharp pain in her lower right abdomen. The pain was coming in waves and felt severe. She pulled off in Tulsa looking for an urgent care facility, but found instead Dr. Peabody's Acupuncture Emporium. Man, that'd be a great name. You don't even have to have Dr. Peabody working there. Just Dr. Peabody's World of Acupuncture.
There you go. It's got to be a big building then.
Dr. Peabody's World of Acupuncture, Chiropractic, and All Things Fun. Brought to you by the Snap, Crackle, Pop, and Associates. Dr. Peabody, when you say the word Peabody, you gotta kind of have your voice crack there. Dr. Peabody brought Earlene into a treatment room, examined her pulses, palpated her abdomen, asked about her diet and bowel elimination, then sparked up a few cones of Moxadude and began to heat Earlene's lower right abdomen. What was Dr. Peabody's diagnosis? Number 1, someone's having severe pain in their lower right abdomen. What do you immediately think?
Appendicitis.
Appendicitis. What a show, appendicitis. Yes. But there's this really cool Chinese pattern called a cold strike.
And I do not know about cold strikes.
Cold strikes, remember, Chinese patterns don't necessarily explain a single Western pathology. They can explain 100 different pathologies. And you'll treat them in a number of ways. Now, this was kind of a trick question. You could have said cold strike in the Shui Yin vessel, which is the liver vessel, which was an acceptable answer, or you could have said cold strike in the Yang Ming vessel, which would have been large intestine or
Didn't
stomach.
he play basketball? Didn't he play basketball?
I don't know. That was that really tall Chinese dude, right? Google it, would you? What was the... Hey Siri, what was the name of the really tall, freakishly tall Chinese dude? So the answers would be cold strike in the Shui Yin or cold strike in the Yang Ming. Now, you could also have hernias, inguinal hernias falling into that
It is
pattern.
Yang Ming.
Yao Ming. That was Yao Ming.
What was one you said?
Yang Ming.
Oh, that's close.
Yao! Yang.
I
Yao!
never
Yang.
said I could read.
You know what Chinese cattle say?
Meow.
Yang. You know what French cattle say?
It's cute.
They're optimists, those French cattle. You know, when the French chefs are all going to go after the goose livers and have foie gras, if you're a cow in France, you've got every means to be optimistic.
Yeah.
All you got to worry about is them taking your milk for stinky cheese. So, did we have a winner this week?
I don't know if we did.
We did not.
I didn't even win that one.
No,
I said basketball player.
no, we did not. Wah, 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 wah. So in a little bit, we're going to give this week's conundrum. And if you think you have the answer, you can call it in and leave a message with Carrie, our official show observer. Carrie, you didn't realize that you had an official title. If you're in the Philippines, you can get a hold of Hero via any one of the different outlets that he puts us up on. Here, what's Hero's official title?
Producer, I would think.
Producer, Mr. Producer.
Executive producer.
Ooh, Hero, you are now executive producer. This is becoming a really highbrow 2-bit show.
Oh, yeah. Nothing less.
Are we even a 2-bit show? I don't think we even have a 2-bit budget, do we?
I mean, I've been printing the money, so it's whatever
I
you
was
want.
going to say, everything so far has been
Super
in the
cool.
red.
It's whatever you want it to be, Mo.
So, we've talked about ergonomics. We talked about what's ailing me.
Yeah, we didn't say what we did with it though. Really, we did some muscle work, did a little adjustments
You
with
went
it.
for some adjustments and some occipital release, right?
Mm-hmm. Does feel though like you got, I think, the congestion too, because we were hitting with the lymphatic points too,
Mhm.
or the suboccipitals. But this is also the time of year that the trees start to bud.
Not yet.
It's getting close though. They do it in January.
Really?
My magnolia, it already has the buds on it.
Talk about an optimist.
You'll start to see them. Well, they got to start somewhere before spring starts. You got to start that process.
True.
But yeah, because I used to be a little allergy bubble child, and it would always be right around mid to end of January, depending on how mild or rough the winter was. It
I
would
wasn't an allergy bubble child. I was just the child that my parents said, "You stay hidden." One day, my parents were always telling me, "You stay away from the cellar door, Mo. Don't you go near the cellar door."
with mold.
All kinds of stuff. And when you tell a kid, "Stay away from the cellar,"
You're definitely
what are
gonna
they
do it.
going to? They're going to, yeah. So one day, my parents had to go into town. My brother and sister were gone. And my parents said, "You going to be all right?" And I said, "Oh, yeah. They said, "Are you sure you're going to be all right?" "Oh, yeah. Would you quit doing that that stupid Humphrey Bogart impersonation?" "Yes." And they said, "Are you going to be all right?" And I said, "Well, I think I'll be all right." And they said, "Leave Jimmy Stewart out of this." Then they left. I heard the truck start up. They took off. I waited a little bit because, a covert operation has to be done right. Put on a black turtleneck. Put on black sweatpants. Got a black beanie on. And I went over to the door and I went, wow, it was warm. The door was warm. I remember it very clearly. And I put my face up against the door. It was so strange. And I put my hand, and you got that adrenaline dump because you're doing what you shouldn't be doing. And I turned the knob, and I can hear my parents, the years, at this point, it was about 12 years of them saying, "Stay away from the cellar door." And I put my hand on it, and I opened it up, and I opened the door, and I went out. And I saw the most strange things, the most wonderful things.
Dust bunnies,
I saw
cobwebs.
blue sky. I saw trees. There were birds singing.
What else did you get into that day?
They could never get me back in that cellar, I'll tell you that.
All of a sudden, it became Alice in Wonderland.
It's been all downhill for my parents ever since. Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry I put you through all of that. But look at me now.
Now you're a star.
Now I'm a star on YouTube with 2 viewers. And yes, for those of you who are humorously astute, you will know that was a stolen joke and tailored to my own style. Years ago, I worked in a fiberglass shop.
What didn't you do? You've done almost everything.
Well, I was never a bookie. Do you know why? Because I couldn't spell it. I worked in a fiberglass shop making sea kayaks and some airplane parts and some tractor parts. And one of the guys, he was a salesman. He came in one day and he told us that joke. And I thought it was hilarious. So I've used it off and on over the years. And then I found out a couple years ago that there was this really weird, wild, wacky, and wonderful comedian named Emo Phillips. And he told that joke originally. So I've got a full disclosure, otherwise YouTube will nail us. Not my joke. I've got a headache. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Fact check.
I can't be original all the time. You want to just jump to the conundrum for this
We can
week?
do that.
This week's conundrum. Carl B. Krasinski. If you can't be a Smith, you might as well be a Krasinski. Was experiencing pain in his right knee, described as a dull ache. He also complained of chronic low backache. Carl was terrified of acupuncture needles, but his acupuncturist, Dr. G. Glenda Gesundheit, GGG, OG, was confident that she could treat his ailment using herbs. What organ pattern was Dr. Gesundheit focusing on? Another classic Chinese conundrum. If you think you know the answer to our conundrum.
I got an idea about what you treat me. That sounds pretty familiar.
Maybe. If you think you know the answer, call us at 608-314-8791. Leave your message either on the voicemail, or if Carrie answers, leave it with Carrie and give her your name and contact information. You can email us, info@Siloam Center, or you can write it. You can carve it into the underside of a 5x5 granite slab and have it shipped to us.
You're getting a little high end here, Mo. I mean, I know you're.
Hey, a granite slab could be 5x5.
I'm thinking 5 foot by 5 foot, and I'm like, man, okay, I guess you're taking it up a notch. He's famous now. We need a new.
Both viewers.
We need a new countertop, apparently.
We do actually. Actually, we do. We need to get some class.
Some 5 by 5, apparently.
Even my
color?
wife is saying we're dragging this out.
What color are we doing? White with some speckles in there?
So, I had a very interesting case. A patient originally came in with severe foot pain.
Okay.
The naturopath that the patient was working with diagnosed the patient as Hashimoto's hypothyroid and began treating the thyroid and began doing some anti-inflammatories for the feet. Diagnosed the foot as plantar fasciitis. I started treating the patient, was not allowed to touch the herbs and supplements because someone else was point. It's fine. And I told the patient, I don't think that this is necessarily plantar fasciitis. Eventually, we were able to start working on things and diagnosed Lyme disease, the whole cocktail of co-infections. What I found interesting is this patient talked about how it felt like there were little masses under the skin that she would be walking on. And it was driving her nuts, and it was excruciating at times. Now, those masses are not so hard. They actually feel like little, almost like chia seeds that have been soaking in water.
Okay,
That's
that
what
jelly.
they feel like underneath the skin. When you have masses of little cysts like that, what is that symptomatic of? Lymphatic stagnation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
where it feels kind of bubbly when you're going over the plantar fascia.
mm-hmm. You can actually wiggle these guys around, and you run your finger up between the joints, and it goes. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, they feel bubbly.
Yeah,
almost like bubble wrap, like that you kind of snap it, but it kind of has a little bit of give.
And they move around, whereas bubble wrap is stationary.
Yeah, but it's like that texture though.
Yeah, and they can kind of flow.
Mm-hmm.
Let it flow. It's bad when the host's wife is pointing out that the show is really dragging.
Is it? I just thought we mixed it
I
up.
thought it's having fun.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not offended. I think it's funny. Interestingly enough, when we do the kinesio testing, it tests as a Babesia issue in the feet. Now, what is Babesia?
Co-infection of Lyme.
Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral?
Animal.
Is it mammal,
No.
bacterial, or protozoa?
Protozoa.
Protozoa, which is kind of like a little amoeba or a little.
They're very hard to get rid of.
They're very hard to get rid of. So we did the kinesiology testing today. We tested to see what supplements could work on this poor individual. Dear lady, incredible sense of humor. Tough as nails, in spite of having a job where she's on her feet all day long. Sorry, my wife is in the
being
live
naughty.
chat.
Just being
that
naughty,
wasn't
huh?
me. That doesn't sound like me. Yes, it does. This will be one that if my aunt ever sees it, she'll say, you need to get better quality on your program. This is why we've only got 2 viewers on YouTube.
We have others that check in.
Yeah. But you work on lymphatic drainage. You work on using herbs to kill the Babesia. And one of the things that she said was very interesting. This show is about self-care this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things she said what was very interesting was the pain goes away when I do a coffee enema. But at a certain point, you feel like you're becoming dependent on the coffee enema. You're not. Your body's just draining all of this stuff and trying to get it out, and it's taken a while because it's a tough infection to kill. So what my advice to her was this morning is keep doing your coffee enema, but maybe every other one do a TUDCA plus enema. TUDCA being an enzyme from bovine gallbladders. Dilates that liver. We've talked about it ad nauseum.
Now would they take that orally or would that go in with the enema?
You put warm water in your container, about 100-degree water, and you open up the capsules, 2 capsules, and you stir it in there and get it to dissolve.
Okay.
Then you do the enema with that.
Oh, okay.
If you feel like you're getting too dependent on the coffee enema, you might want to try the TUDCA enema. But an enema is something that you can do. It's not just for pain in the feet. If you're having
stagnation, right?
Stagnation anywhere in the body, which goes back to lymphatic stagnation. If it truly is lymphatic stagnation causing your pain, like this headache, people with a severe frontal headache, you clean those bowels out, get the bowels to start moving in the right direction, that headache will go away. Usually within about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone wants to do a coffee enema, but that's a phenomenal self-care tool. So one more tool for your
arsenal.
You want to go online. You want to get a good coffee enema kit. Some of the good Wilson's Organic certified mycotoxin clean.
Is that a website that you go to with that, or is that something you can find off of like Amazon? Or?
You can find it on Amazon. I don't like Amazon, so I find it elsewhere.
Do you just type that in then Google, or how do you find it?
There's one website. Let me see if I can find it.
I guess like what's an average price of getting that coffee that does not have mold and all that other stuff? Then is it like around $20 for like a pound, or what is, I guess, what's the average price?
Mercy, do you remember what the cost of that is? Coffee.
Because I imagine it's more so because it's organic and mold free, with the outside.
You're looking at about $15 a pound from enemasupply.com.
Okay, so that's where to get it.
EnemaSupply.com. You can get the coffee. It's
The actual
S.A.
kit?
Wilson's, if you can see that. Gold roast coffee. It's certified from third party.
You get the enema kit there
you
too.
can
That's
get-
reputable.
You can get enema kits. The enema kit that I would recommend, you probably, well, they have better valves from the enema kits that you can get on Amazon, on Enema.
Which one? You go on this site or go on Amazon?
I would go on Amazon to get the enema
The kit.
bag
Okay.
with the catheter and such, because it's got a better valve.
Okay.
These guys, they've got the little butterfly valve that just kind of clamps it off.
Okay.
When you're laying on the floor and
You want it to be easy.
uncomfortable, you don't want to think much. But I would say get your coffee from Enema Supply. Find your favorite website to do it. But that's going to be a phenomenal self-care tool.
Mhm.
What about essential oils?
For if you're having this with
For anything.
fasciitis, I use them now and again. I actually like I like Digize for myself because that one seems to work pretty quick.
That's a Young Living thing, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the doTERRA opposite would be to that. I know those are like the two big ones.
I know this is going to put us in trouble, but when was the last time we shied away from that? I would love to see a cage fight
Between the two.
between a doTERRA rep and a Young Living rep. You know, give one of them a folding chair, give one of them, I don't know, a log chain, and see who comes out.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
I just know that one, it does help. Like I can put that like kind of over the liver and this, the GI region, and it's pretty quick that it takes effect with that.
Well, even for anxiety situations, the classic go-to for anxiety is the lavender.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily all you need, because sometimes it's a depressive anxiety situation, in which case using like a lemongrass or lemongrass or even grapefruit
What
oil.
about orange?
Not so much.
No?
Not so much. It's not quite as bright as the lemon or the grapefruit.
Okay.
The other thing is, if you're dealing with lymphatic drainage and brain fog, speaking of brain fog, cypress and what's the other one?
Blue spruce?
No,
How about gin?
sandalwood. Now you're just making cocktails.
So that's what cypress made me think of.
Cypress and sandalwood are two very good lymphatic moving oils.
Not gin.
That's if you want to forget your troubles.
What if I add a jalapeno stuffed green olive?
Okay. So Dr. Noel's idea of self-care is a bathtub full of vermouth and some juniper berries, a jalapeno and a green olive, and some cocktail onions.
Wow, that sounds good. Do I have patience after this, or can I go do that? Not a whole bathtub, maybe just a short.
3 fingers in the bathtub.
I like to feel woodsy.
Give me 3 fingers. American standard, please.
So was it rosemary? Was that the other one you said? Or would that just go with my
That's if
cocktail?
you're having chicken.
Okay. Cypress. What was the other one?
Cypress and sandalwood.
I'm not even sure what that one smells like, to be honest. I'd have to smell that one sometime.
I like sand. You'll see sandalwood in a lot of beard oils,
Oh, okay.
but they're cheap and they don't put enough sandalwood in there. So my wife, Mercy Joy, the lady who's in charge of putting sassy things up in the live chat.
Is she joining me after the show too? I'm kidding. I know Mercy's
Honey,
better than
did you-
that.
Did you want to go get roaring drunk with Dr. Noel?
She was like, no. She's too classy for that.
I have never seen her even. Anyway. What in the world were we talking about? Oh, Mercy Joy makes me beard oil
Oh,
with the sandalwood. That's not chinsing out on the beard oil.
it's
or
like
on
is
the
it like a
sandalwood.
warm
So
kind
it
of smell?
smells really good. It's clean. It's antibacterial and antiviral kind of stuff. It cleans, but it also, you put it up here on a day like today, and woo, it opens up
It's
the
nice.
lymphatics.
Cool.
Mighty nice.
Where else would you put it for lymphatics? Like, it always goes towards the heart. Would you like do something like down by the ankles or like the legs
You can
or?
stroke your head coming
Okay.
down the neck. You can stroke the arms coming up. If you're I had a guy last night. He fell on the ice.
Yeah,
Fell on the ice and went out and caught himself like everyone always
that's
does.
rough.
If you're gonna fall, don't put your hands out. That's how you
Well,
break things. If you're gonna fall, come in nice and tight. Tuck your chin so you don't hit your head. Ow, that hurt.
Not a good day for
Tuck
that.
your chin. If you're gonna fall, go down. You hit your tough shoulder,
Hit the meat.
everything's in. You're not going to really move that shoulder much and hyperextend anything like this. Don't go like this. You'll break something. This guy talked about he had visible swelling for 3 weeks and heat right in through here.
That's not good.
Could hardly move his thumb. And I said, can you grab hold of your thumb? And no, I really can't.
Yeah,
This is
snuff
called
box.
Finkelstein's test.
Ooh, that hurts.
I love Finkelstein's test just because it's fun
Sometimes
to say.
that just hurts just to
Finkelstein.
hurt.
And the idea is to
Yeah.
grab hold of your thumbs and ease forward. And I've got it right in through here. That's that thenar tendonitis. That's that abductor. What is it? Longus pollicis abductus.
Yep, and then you got the anatomical snuff box, and you got scaphoid. Not.
Have you ever seen anyone use the anatomical snuff box?
No, I'm not that cool. I don't party that hard.
I don't know anyone that even uses snuff. My great grandmother smoked a corncob pipe though.
That's pretty cool.
She was super cool. So he was definitely positive for Finkelstein's and did some acupuncture. And by the time the needles were in, he was able to grab hold of his thumb. He had full range of motion, just a little bit of pain left in this joint.
That's excellent.
Why? Because he fell and he went to catch himself. Hyperextended that, did something to his thumb, probably this, and hyperextended things.
That's common. People fall on the ice all the time. It's kind of that or shoveling snow, and they'll do a little bit too much, or they'll hit sidewalk and jar their back.
Or both.
Yes, I did that last year. I jarred my back using one of those plow shovels.
I remember that.
Yeah, I went shopping afterwards. That's how I healed it.
Is that how you got your snowplow?
No, I was doing the cleanup after plowing, and then just jarred it.
Well, and that's again where the core strengthening is going to be so important. Preventative, one of the best preventative self-care you can do, strengthening your core.
Everybody can use that. There's no such thing as too much core strength.
So we've got this swelling in here. One of the things that you can do if you have swelling like this gentleman had, you can use some of your oils for moving blood. Like we said, sandalwood's great, moves lymphatics. Frankincense and myrrh. Mo Yao Ru Shang in Chinese. Blood movers. Put those on and just kind of move it up the body.
Get it towards the heart to recirculate.
Yeah. Get it moved out. Did I miss? Yeah, we were talking. Mercy says, "Did I miss something?" Yeah, we were talking about
Happy
Dr.
hour.
Noel having
Happy hour later.
after this, and getting a bunch of vermouth in a bathtub.
You said that part. I got to clean the bathtub first if we're gonna go that far.
Get cheap vermouth and some juniper berries.
Fancy.
She gonna make some gin. This is great. It's like having Mercy here with us.
She'd be fun to have on the show. She's hilarious.
Yeah, she is. Did you hear that? By the way, next week
We get to have even more fun.
we have a special guest. We have
Long awaited.
Rebecca Custer coming in. She's a local physical therapist. She does a lot with Parkinson's patients.
Oh.
And she's going to come in and she's going to talk to us about what it is that she does with her Parkinson's patients for physical therapy. We're going to open the phones up to you guys. So if you have any questions and you want to get someone besides us, and I wouldn't blame you sometimes, like today.
Hey, this is real. This is who we are.
This is who we are. If you want to get another perspective,
Yeah, this is not
of
a show
an
you want to miss.
integrative perspective, call in. If you got questions that you're not going to be able to call in, email us, info@Siloam Center. Call in and tell Carrie, I've got this question, and I'll take it off the air when you guys have the show next week. Call it in.
What a good opportunity. When do you get to have access to a physical therapist like that?
When do you get to have access to 3 different disciplines of medicine in one show, completely free?
And we're all being nice to each other.
Yeah, we're all working together. We're not saying, I don't like her. She looks weird. Well, well, I don't like him. He looks like it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Hey,
We love our differences.
there are some things that acupuncture is going to be very slow at.
There's some things that acupuncture can really speed up compared to what I can do.
There's some things that if we, the 3 of us, work together, land a Goshen, it's going to go quick.
And patients love it. They get super excited.
If your practitioner is honest and says, you know what, I can treat this, but it's going to take a while. So let's bring in Dr. Noel. Let's bring in Dr. Custer and see. Becca, are you a doctor yet? I don't know.
Some physical therapists are.
I think you have to be a doctor in this state of doctor of physical therapy, don't you?
I think that's an additional thing. I don't.
We're going
to
to call her Doc.
She might be though.
Doc Rebecca. We're going to send you to Doc Rebecca and have her do her thing with you and get you feeling better. And that's the other thing we need to ask her. What is it that physical therapists do? Is it just stretches and exercises?
I think there's
People
much more to
No,
it.
there's
Yeah.
a lot more. They do muscle releases. They do all kinds of
Working from home after you get done with a surgery, how to live your life again after you have a change like that. I know that's a big part of it too.
So next week is going to be a very important show. She's giving up her lunch hour for this.
We better get her some
She's
Panera.
giving her lunch hour up to be on a 2-bit show. Talk about humbling yourself.
I'm excited to meet her.
What a sweetie. So next week, the Siloam Center for Traditional and Integrative Medicine is really, really integrating, bringing in a physical therapist to talk to you. So you'll have chiropractic, physical therapy, and acupuncture, oriental medicine.
All in one space. It'll be great.
Functional medicine, oriental medicine. That's a lot of stuff. What a place. So don't miss that show. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Mercy, are we doing happy hour?
Mercy, did you hear that? We're waiting for you.
No, I had really fun. This was a really fun show. None of this was scripted.
Never is.
This is just
This is just us shooting the breeze.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
We're fun.
You don't get to see the casual side of your practitioners that often. Well, here you do.
Here you do.
Because this is just who we are, and this is who we always are. My patients will hear me singing weird songs all the time.
Laughter heals.
It does. You release endorphins, and you get a lot of good healing happening. There's a lot of laughter here. I've been in many other clinics that you walk in and it just feels stark and sterile. And
it doesn't here though. You walk in and you can feel that
it feels different.
It's warming, comfortable.
So you've wasted another perfectly good hour with us. the docs at Chat with the Docs at the Siloam Center. And yeah, different kind of show. We'll get back to your questions next week. Don't miss the show next week. Tell your friends and neighbors, like, share, hit that button. Isn't that what they usually say?
Yeah.
It helps us. It does
Like,
help us.
share, subscribe.
Yes. Twitter, Toodle,
Rumble.
Rumble, Relay. What are some? There's so many of these things.
I've never heard of Rumble until you said that. I'm gonna have to look at that. You're up on it.
Hey, I'm cutting edge, Joe. Ever since they let me out of the cellar, I've been cutting edge.
Hey, Adrian.
No, I'm cutting edge now. Have yourself a wonderful week. If you have questions, give us a call. Till next week, shalom and be well.
Bye, guys.
Oh, Mercy Joy, I know you're watching. I'll be coming straight home after the show, and we'll do lunch.
Aw.